Right, let's start. As we are 6 right now, we'll get started with 3 Ohms. And Shambhavvi, please walk us through a prayer. And let's get started.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Shambhavi, can you check your audio settings? Just make sure your echo cancellation is off. Looks like there might be some problem with your audio. And you're using the high fidelity music mode, right? If you go into the audio settings, go into the audio profile.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yeah, it's definitely better. Okay, Sairam, let's get started. Thanks, Shambhavi and Navneeth for volunteering this time to take us through the My Sai and I journey. So typically for people who are joining this session for the first time, this is a session where YS come in and they share their experiences, the personal experiences that took them towards Swami, to have them connected with Swami. Right? It's a session open for everyone to attend, but it is more YL led through this region. So here I invite Shambhavi. Shambhavi is, just to give you an intro, I think most of you guys know Shambhavi, but I'll just give an intro. Shambhavi is from Dallas Eye Center. She has been through her SSL journey, and now she is young YA here from the Dallas Eye Center. Shambhavi, please take us through the session and this part. Sairam.
Sairam, everyone. My name is Shambhavvi. I recently graduated from SSC and I go to the Dallas Eye Center. I am currently a freshman in college, and this is my first time speaking in this YA setting, and all the experience I have is just from SSC presentation, so I'll just let that do the job. So I was born into the Sai fold. My parents have been part of the Dallas Sai Center for the past 22 years. So I've been attending the center since I was born. Growing up, I did not like going to SSC at all. I never understood the purpose behind it, and I basically only went to see my friends. I did learn music outside of Sai Center, so I did sing in weekly devotional sessions, but I just sang for the sake of singing. I felt this way until later in group 3. I felt like Sai Center was a waste of time. I wasn't getting anything useful out of it, and I didn't believe that Swami existed. And you would think that growing up in the Sai fold, it's weird that I was questioning his existence. So one Sunday, when I was singing in the regular Sunday devotional session, I was an SSC student and I was singing the bhajan, Swami, take my hand, Jesus, take my hand, when a flower fell from the altar. I'm just going to say the lyrics out loud for reference. It goes, Swami, take my hand, Jesus, take my hand, dear Lord, take my hand and lead the way. I'll never forget you. You'll always be with me. Dear Lord, take my hand and lead the way. You are a guide and protector, mother and father. Dear Lord, take my hand and lead the way. Teach me loving service, peace and contentment. Dear Lord, take my hand and lead the way. So as I said earlier, this was around the time I was questioning Swami's omnipresence, as bad as it sounds. So it was like he had been listening to my thoughts and my doubts, and he chose the perfect time. If you really listen to the bhajan lyrics and the words, he really chose the perfect time to give me an answer in such a simple but meaningful gesture like a flower falling from the altar. I know it's not a miracle story or anything, but it's an incident that I've held really close to my heart because it's when I stopped singing just for the sake of singing and I started singing to Swami. I began to pay attention to the words of the bhajans I sang rather than just the tune, and it has really helped play a big role in my relationship with Swami. After this, I really started to enjoy SSC a lot more, especially in group 4, where we talked about many topics such as mental health, time management, respect, and my favorite topic, surrender. So first, I'm going to talk about 2 other topics that are really personal to me and that kind of lead into the topic of surrender. So faith and self-confidence are the 2 topics. And something I've learned from Swami is that you can't have faith without self-confidence, and you can't have self-confidence without faith. So what really is the meaning of faith and self-confidence? To me, faith is confidence in the God outside of you, so the Swami outside of you, and self-confidence is confidence in the Swami within you. So I want all of you to imagine this scenario in your head. You and Swami are in his interview room, and the first thing he asks you is, "Am I God?" What would you say?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm taking the privilege to answer, but anyone else can answer too. Please unmute and answer.
Yes, definitely. I will say that. Yes.
Okay. I would also confidently say yes, Swami. But if he asked a follow-up question and he said, "That means you are also God, right?" What would be your response?
That's where I just step back. It's hard. We
I will
know
say Swami,
we
sorry. I will say Swami, I'm not sure, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I would say maybe make me realize that I'm God.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
So I want to answer this question with a quote. Do not ever think that you and God are separate. Think always, God is with me. He is inside me. He is around me. All there is God. I myself am God. I am the infinite, the eternal. I am not two. I am one and only one. There's no one else besides me. I and God are one and the same. To realize this unity, the first step is to develop self-confidence. It comes when you realize that God is not outside of you. So going back to the scenario, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think I would confidently say, "Yes, Swami, I am also God." But I want to be able to say that confidently. But at this point in my life, I don't think it would be very honest of me if I said yes. I also don't think there's anything wrong with this answer. It should be our goal to confidently say yes, but I think life is a learning experience, and it's important that we grow throughout our life and improve our character. After all, Swami says the end of education is character. Swami says that he is divine, and therefore so are we. It is easy to say, "I am God and I am divine," but it is difficult to truly mean and understand it. If you really believe that you are God and that you are divine, then that is true faith and self-confidence. So this brings me into the next topic of surrender and what it means to me. Surrender is how you measure how strong your faith and self-confidence is. Swami says surrender is the ability to accept and celebrate whatever happens to us in our life as that being good for us. Let me repeat that. Surrender is the ability to accept and celebrate whatever happens to us in our life and that being good for us. So when something good happens, you should think it is good for you and that is why it happened. But when something bad happens, or what we perceive as bad, you should accept and celebrate it. That is the meaning of true surrender. You should believe that Swami made it happen for a reason. You may not know the reason, you might learn the reason later, or you might never find out the reason, but it's all about trusting him. True surrender is freedom from fear, but also the freedom from hope and expectations. It's the understanding of the idea that we can't control everything. We can control our words, our actions, and our effort, but we can't control the outcome. It's all up to him. The ultimate goal is to have faith that Swami loves you and knows what is best for you. So from all of these lessons that I've learned from Swami over the years, I want to talk a little bit about my personal experiences with these concepts. I've always had a hard time struggling with self-confidence and faith. And personally, I believe that you have to start with having confidence in yourself to be able to perform to the best of your ability. If you aren't able to have faith in yourself, it's the same as saying you don't have faith in Swami, because you and Swami are the same. For me, I've lacked self-confidence in throughout my whole life, academics, music, public speaking. I don't like public speaking, so this is very hard for me.
It is definitely not like you did not like it. The way it is going so far, it's been tremendous. I don't believe in what you just said. So
I've always had a hard time with public speaking, but in the end, it all turns out well because I mean, it's up to Swami, right? I have the problem of constantly comparing myself to other people and putting myself down because I think the others around me are better. So that's when I start to lose faith in myself. So how I overcame this is by putting in my 100% effort and removing the fear of judgment. Part of the reason I lacked self-confidence was because I never put my best foot forward. Swami can only do so much. If you put in your 100% effort, he will also do the same. Another thing I've learned from Swami is to surround myself with good company. So I'm a freshman in college, so it's a new city and I have to make new friends. So part of the trouble I had with making new friends was finding people with the same values and surrounding myself with good company, as Swami says. I was fortunate enough to find a roommate who believes in the same values that I do. But if I found a roommate that didn't believe in the same values I did, I would have to learn how to surround myself with good company and take the positive out of the situation instead of the negative. Another thing with good company that I've gotten out of the Sai community after COVID, I met so many people from different regions in the Sai fold, and we all bonded over our love for music and our love for Swami. And this really helped with my self-confidence because they really pushed me out of my comfort zone. They helped me feel comfortable in who I am and being confident in my abilities. So looking back to my SSE days, it's crazy to think about how much I wanted to get out of SSE class. And now I know that I can rely on the Sai community as a second family. And being a college student doing pre-med, it always gets difficult at times. And knowing that I have such a strong support system is definitely helpful. Sai Center has been a getaway from my real world, all the difficulties that I face. And it's the one place where I can truly be myself and be at peace with Swami.
So a couple of questions, Shambhavi. How did you first get that faith factor that you were talking about? What made you realize the fact? It's really beautiful to listen to you. First of all, right? I mean, first I would say I've not probably I think Vaikunt and Vaikunt you should prepare to have Shambhavi host maybe some sessions for us. You know,
Definitely.
she is really good in public speaking. I don't know. I mean, the way she is talking, I don't believe that she is
Yeah,
really shy
I
of
agree.
speaking. She is really good in what she's doing. We should definitely utilize her, right? I mean, having said that, I think how did you really develop that factor of faith in Swami, or how did you develop that factor of faith within yourself about yourself? Really, what made you realize that?
Um, I feel like the ultimate goal is to surrender to Swami, and just looking at his discourses and his teachings and everything,
And
it
is there any specific incident that you can maybe tie it upon to
I
building.
think it was the flower falling from the altar
Uh-huh.
that made me realize that I should have faith in Swami because he's always there.
But the surrender factor comes at the last, like the way you explained how faith and then the self confidence and then the surrender part of having it, right? Beautifully explained, really. So first comes the faith, then comes the self confidence, then comes the surrender. So surrender is probably the last
Yeah.
point. Of course, it's not really the last, where you probably keep surrendering things over and over again. But where is this faith factor really starting up to you? Like maybe the falling is probably one incident, but is that the very first incident that you ever experienced? Is there anything else that you could think of from your SSC days? Anything that developed faith in Swami? Anything that you really think that helped you to fit in yourself into the Swami's journey, or your journey, and or probably fit in Swami in your journey, if I may call it?
I don't really have any specific incidents besides the flower,
Okay.
but in terms of school,
Mhm.
I definitely like not studied for exams before, and I would just leave it up to Swami,
Mhm.
and he'll just do all the work for me.
Yeah. I mean, I mean that's a different kind of an example to take, also, right? I mean, no, I would not advise anybody to do that, and neither do you either. But what I'm saying is probably the faith in Swami is the faith in you. The faith in you is faith in Swami, right? And you and Swami are not really are separate, really, and that kind of realization uh, is really more important. The way you explained it, really, it's beautifully explained. How I think that all comes from your SSC days, frankly. Right? I mean, the way you explained definitely has come from SSC. So I really can't say that. Probably it's the transformation really started during your SSC days, coming up to where the Swami gave you the flower from the
Yeah.
altar, and made you realize through that journey. Really the transformation probably started really much earlier than what you think. Probably it started off with the flower, but probably the flower falling incident, or that particular incident that you may call, is probably an incident that helped you to catch hold of Swami. Is one point, an incident where it helped you to get hold of him at that point, and continued your journey throughout the COVID period, where you were talking about having friends from other regions, spending time with them in terms of music, and now the way you feel very self confident about uh, you know pursuing yourself in terms of your your friends in Sai circle, right? In terms of not just your friends in SSE, not just your friends in our Sai center, maybe across the region, across the globe, across the way you connected. Probably I think Ashish also explained the same way. He did mention about you during his session on my Sai and I, and how you guys connected and how it helped each other in terms of building each other's connection with Swami, really, right? I really appreciate and thank you so much, Shambhavvi, for coming forward and speaking to us today. I would pass it on to Navneeth. And Navneeth,
Sarah,
please
thank you
take
for the
it.
opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shambhavvi. Over to you, Navneeth.
Yes. I hope the audio is clear, right?
Yep, it is clear.
Okay. Yes. Om
So,
Shri Sai Ram.
just to give another intro, I think I didn't give intro about Navneeth. Navneeth just moved into Dallas. He's from Alike. He studied in Swami School in Alike back in Mangalore, India, and then he moved in here. He's doing his masters here now in UT Arlington. Over to you, Navneeth.
Yes. Om Shri Sai Ram. Placing my humble and loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. I pray to Swami that Swami, please speak through me. A few days back, when Brother Prasanna contacted me to talk about my experience with Swami, I had a lot of trouble to choose what experience to speak about. There have been so many incidents in my life. There have been so many experiences in my life. I did not know what to do. Then I prayed to Swami and I decided to tell my entire life story because uh, it would be a better way to approach this beautiful session. Being born in a family where my father and mother only believed in Swami, because my mother was a Balvika student and father also studied in Alike, which is a Sai school, having received Padnamskar from Swami in 1981. My childhood was not a very smooth sailing one, because we had a lot of fights in the family after my birth. There have been so many family related issues that my family had to go through. I remember my mother recalling that as soon as I was born, I did not cry immediately. I did not take my first breaths immediately, but then it was only after the quick intervention from the doctor, as well as a small prayer to Swami, that I started breathing and crying. So that probably would have been the indication that somehow Swami had decided to take me into his fold as soon as I was born. But due to these fights in the family and everything, my family, like my father and mother, were thrown out of the joint family, and they had to fend for themselves. It was probably only the love and affection of Swami, as well as their education, that supported the family. In my childhood, I was always attached to spiritual aspects. I would go to the nearby Hanuman temple to pray to the Hanuman in the idol there, and I would spend my time in my childhood. Yeah, but I had no formal introduction to Swami. But although we were going to Pati almost every 2 years or so, my first seeing Swami in his physical form was in 2001, when he had visited Alike for the second time. Quite surprisingly, I still remember seeing Swami very vaguely in the center of the stage in that huge gathering. And I also vaguely remember that the helicopter on which Swami had come, he had boarded the helicopter and was waving from inside the helicopter as he was leaving Alike. That was the moment when my mother had prayed to Swami, which she later told me that, Swami, this is your child. Whatever happens in his life is your responsibility. I completely surrender this baby's life to you. Probably that's when the detachment from mother to complete handover to Swami had happened. I was not very close to Swami and all the bhajans and everything for quite some time, because my family was slowly recovering from all the family related fights. But it was in 2010 when my parents decided that I also have to go to Swami school just like my father did. So in 2010, we go to Parthi and we pray to Swami. We get Swami's darshan very close by, and then we pray to Swami, and then I get my admit to the Swami school there in Alike. But the 3 years in Alike was not a smooth sailing as well. It was so many ups and so many downs. Mostly it was downs, but Swami would teach me different aspects as to how the life would be outside your comfort zone. But those experiences has only made me realize that how much ever I get close to Swami catches hold of me, gives me the experience. As much as I learn, and immediately as I learn, he gives me the bliss that I'm always supposed to enjoy. It was all fine and good, but I what happened was, after my high school, I applied to Parthi because I had to take my university education. Then I had applied to Parthi. I also got selected to Parthi, but then suddenly, when I was in Parthi, I had a change of mind. And then I told I'm going to do engineering. My parents were shocked. Are you sure you want to do engineering? This is Swami school. You can go there. But then I told, no, I'm going to engineering. So then I shifted my focus to engineering. It was only in the third year of my engineering that I realized that I was having this recurring back pain. So the back pain started getting so serious that I would not be able to attend the classes. There would be sessions where I would be made to sit separately and get up every half an hour or so. Upon consulting the doctor, we came to know that it was a case of L5S1 listhesis. So what actually happens is, uh, we know that our backbone has these vertebrae that are interlocked. So we have different units that are interlocked. This interlocking mechanism was a birth defect, and I did not have this interlocking mechanism. The doctor told, we will be proceeding with the surgery if that is okay for you, but we will give you 50% chance that the surgery would be successful. If the surgery would become unsuccessful, then I would be paralyzed waist down, because it was an irreversible procedure. Then this caught as a big cloud in our entire family, telling that, okay, there has to be something that has to be done. I was wearing the belt, taking medicines every now and then. The pain was extreme. It was that at that time when one of the members in our Sai Samiti told, why don't you try vibronics, Sai vibronics? We did not even know what is vibronics. It is a kind of medicine that is blessed by Swami himself, and it worked wonders. So I went to the vibronics specialist with the family, and I had been suffering this listhesis problem for almost 7 to 8 months of severe pain. You believe it or not, by Swami's miracle, in 1 week the pain was entirely subdued. There was no pain, and in 6 months, of course, I was completely back to normal. I could lift weights back again, and I could do anything that I really wish to do as a normal individual. But this introduction to Sai Vibronics also changed something in me. So it created a bond between me and Swami that only grew stronger every after that event. I started getting Swami in my dreams. So he would come in my dreams, visit me, talk to me. He would give subtle signs, etc. And then he would smile and go in the dreams. I have had hundreds of dreams in which Swami would come and bless me. Sometimes Swami would not come alone. Sometimes he would bring Shirdi Baba as well. So they would sometimes talk to me. How are you? How is it going on? Is everything okay? How is your mother doing? So these were the common occurrences of Swami in the dreams. So these dreams started getting very often. I would see Swami every night, and then the morning, both of my parents would be ready, asking, "Okay, what did Swami tell today?" Like, "Oh, nothing, nothing. It is just darshan." One of the dreams that I would like to narrate in this situation is, I was in the Kulwant Hall's mandir there, in the main mandir. Swami was sitting in the chair. I was sitting below Swami, and then there was this very small dust that had stuck to the right side of Swami's hair. I was looking at Swami, and the dust was bothering me. He was in deep samadhi, thinking something. His hands were moving like this. And then I stood up and touched that uh, dust and picked it up from his hair. And then he looked at me and said, "Okay, good. Huh?" He was happy, I was happy, and that dream just vanished. So this is one of the dreams that I still remember very perfectly. But as the days passed, in one of the dreams, I think Swami decided that the game has to go up. That's when Swami, along with Shirdi Baba, in one of the dreams, came to me and initiated me to type of meditation that is called Shaktipata meditation. And Swami gave certain instructions as to how I should follow that. That was probably my first step to spiritual progress or spiritual practice as a daily part of my life. And then, yeah, so I would have more dreams of Swami, but at one point of time, the dreams would dissolve, and I started hearing Swami's voice, which if I tell anywhere outside the Sai center, someone would call me that, okay, you're not in your right senses. But in the Sai center, we all know that it is possible because Swami is Sarvantaryami, he is everywhere. I would listen to Swami's instructions. I would hear Swami's voice very clearly, as though, okay, this is the person you're going to meet today. He has this thing, so you can tell him to read Vishnu Sahasranama, tell him that. And I also had physical sightings of Swami in a certain bhajan event that we had been to. He was sitting in the throne which had been kept for Swami. So these experiences made me nothing but get more and more closer to Swami all the time. But I had this thing for Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is one of my favorite gods. And then I would pray to Swami, Swami, I want a lingam, because lingam is a mode of worship that I would love to do. Swami, please give me lingam. 3 years I asked Swami. Swami in the dream would come and say, you're not ready for it. Wait, what did you say? You want lingam? No, wait. I've had so many dreams that would convey the message that I was not yet ready. But after 3 years of asking, one day, Swami blesses me with the lingam, and also this ring which I wear all the day, and it would fit me perfectly. So when this materialization of the lingam happened, I doubted it, because we, as a human, we all have this monkey mind. We would doubt everything, whatever we see. And then I held the lingam in the night in my puja room and told, okay, so uh, yeah, I know that this is what you have given me, but is it very powerful or is it just a gimmick? Because that's how our monkey minds work. And then I was holding the lingam like this. And then when I turned my hand was covered with vibhuti. This experience gave such a powerful motivation, such a powerful slap on my face, telling that you should never, ever doubt Swami in whatever action that he wants in your life to happen. And that night in the dream, Swami comes and says, I have given a part of me to you. Take a good care of it. So these experiences have given me a lot of motivation that Swami is with me, in me, around me, everywhere. And I'd like to give a small message here today, which Swami himself has told me. We see there are many spiritual practitioners in and around the world who do something called as upasana. Upasana is a practice to please the gods. If you want to do upasana of a devi, you have to chant the mantra or the chants or everything, and then the deity would be pleased, and then the deity would come and bless you. If you want to do upasana of Lord Shiva, you have to do the abhishekam, chant the rudram, do namasmarana, all those practices, and then Swami and Shiva would come and bless you. But what is it that Swami wants? Because Swami is the Parabrahman, he is the Almighty of the universe. What is it that Swami wants? Swami doesn't want your puja, Swami doesn't want your archana or whatever. Swami wants your love. That is what Swami himself has come to me and told me, that it is your love. How do we do it? It is very simple. When you start seeing Swami in everything, each one of the things, your friends, your family, your neighbor, your enemy, everyone, in and everything, if you start seeing Swami, then Swami will look at you. Then Swami will see you, and Swami will come close to you. Swami is the smallest of the small, is the biggest of the big. He is with you, in you, around you. I'd like to conclude this talk and open for any questions regarding my experience or anything. So, thank you.
So, hello, can you hear me? Yeah. So Navneeth,
Yes,
you
yes.
you were talking about that complete surrender and faith in Swami, and then you spoke about how the message that you conveyed at the end, right? About how you treat everyone as Swami, or how you see Swami in everyone. What is that practice that you think would help, that helped you to realize that part? It's kind of really advanced that I'm talking about, right? Like something that goes on top of many people's head when we talk about, first of all, realizing us as divine is a biggest challenge. Now realizing everyone you see as divine is probably an ultimate challenge that we see, right? So now it's all in the books, it's all Swami telling us, just like how Shambhavvi was telling. He says, what if you go to an interview room and Swami says, you are God? What will you say, right? I mean, similarly, how do you get to that into real day practice? What is that made you realize that part? What do you recommend?
Yes. Yeah. When it comes to seeing Swami in everyone, it is not a Herculean task or anything. It is not as the books make you see it. It is very simple. You do probably, okay, today you're doing cooking. What do? Mentally, you offer it to Swami. Whenever you look at a person, the physical form is another thing. See, Swami is standing in front of you. In your everyday activity, imagine that Swami is beside you. You suppose you're doing something on your laptop, then Swami is also standing. Discuss with, mentally discuss it with Swami. Swami, yeah, this is what is happening. So what is the next step? So the more and more you involve your everyday activity, include Swami with it, you just have to imagine. That's it. That is the first step. So once you start imagining, that imagination slowly transcends to reality. That's how apparently the entire world works, and it is very easy to do so. That's all how we give Swami our love to Swami.
Like you were talking about one important factor, right? You said imagining Swami in everything you do, but isn't it really imagining Swami in yourself, basically, where you keep talking to your own Swami, which is who is within you. Even if you were probably imagining if
Yes,
that somebody
yes,
is with you, it's really asking questions and listening to your own self, if I may call it. Is that what you're trying to convey?
yes. That is the first step to getting very close to Swami.
Okay. So, in your experience, what is that one incident? I mean, you spoke about several miraculous incidents here. I mean, apart from the really miraculous incidents that you might have gone through or you're really going through, in your point of view, as Swami says, miracles are my visiting card. You take the visiting card, come to me, and then there is more to see, right? It's similarly like, I mean, so apart from the miracles, what is that one thing that kind of helped you to connect with Swami? Is that your schooling in Alike? Is that any specific incident that you might want to recall?
Not a specific incident, but when the life gives you the toughest of the tough challenges, when you go all the way down, there is nothing no more deeper to dig in. You only start looking upwards. That's so the series of all these incidents in my life has only given me that a message that only Swami is the hope.
So you're talking about challenges that you faced, and having a transformation out of those challenges, where you then pray to Swami. You had your surrender, your prayer to Swami to recover you from whatever illness you had, the series of episodes of illness and toughest times that you had, and the faith in Swami, and that's how you transformed, right? Uh, the in terms of your schooling in Alike, in terms of your that specific journey, is there anything that helped you to gain that kind of a confidence in Swami? Any incident that you might want to recall, or any specifics where any practices that you do every day? What is that you recommend doing every day for people? I mean, it's not like everybody will have to go through a toughest challenge and then
Yes.
realize Swami, right? There is also probably an easier way, if I may call it, right? Instead of going through all the toughest challenges, what is that one thing that you recommend, or you probably think is probably the one practice that you stick to, that which helps you to have the transformation within you, to help you get connected with Swami within you?
Okay. We are all born with something called our karma, and our life happens the way it is supposed to happen. When we realize to a point that we are all just a part of a bigger picture, and whatever we do must always please Swami, that is when the actual transformation will happen in ourselves. So, may it be brushing your teeth, may it be doing the regular chores that you do. Surrender everything to Swami. That is a daily task that you can do. to realize Swami. Yeah, you don't have to go through all the things.
No. So is that it could be very specific things, right? I mean, you're talking about a very high level factor. Now, coming to a people at a very ground level where, I don't know all of this, right? All I know is probably, I can do my bhajans, I can do probably, obeying my parents every day. I can probably do, some stuff that everyone does. So it's probably not realizing Swami as a person, but probably something else which makes you realize that the God within you is more felt and more, you're able to feel him at any point of time and get connected to him. So what is that you recommend in that case? It's not that I'm not looking at a very high level picture here, right? What is
Yeah.
that? There could be smaller things that you might be looking at. Anything for a layman, I'm talking about a layman where you don't know anything about. A lot of us, including me, probably, right? We are not very high in what we are doing. We are probably, we do our everyday activities. Probably we try to maintain godliness around in those activities by doing them perfectly, or by doing them in a way that Swami might probably like it, right? Or so what do you think um, that helps in that factor?
Okay. So if you're asking for a daily activity that you can do is
It's not.
be
I'm not
involved.
asking a daily activity. As something that helped you through the journey. As a kid, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be that mature enough to answer any of this, right? I'm talking about from that young age into what you're right now. But even for that matter, you're not probably in your 50s or 60s to realize everything around you godly, right? All of us are into our transformation journey to realize, but uh, the kind of connect that you have with Swami is more personal, that you probably started realizing it in the transformation, like what I was telling Shambhavvi even, right? Her transformation probably started during her SSC days in terms of some of what she was doing. Like in that way, what is that context which it could be some smaller set of activities that probably you're doing, but you're probably not aware of, that
Okay.
eventually having a connect with Swami, but what is that?
Okay. So when I was younger, when I was a kid in the house, my mom would always make me chant certain set of shlokas. Shlokas are the stutis that are written in the name of different gods. My mom would never have me go a single day without chanting them. So this sparked, at that time, I was thinking that it was a burden. Why would my mother make me chant all these 10, 20 sotas? Like, why would I chant it every day? What is the benefit? But probably in my childhood days, that was the starting factor. That was where the bud would start growing inside us. So that was probably my first encounter with all these spiritual aspects or spiritual things in my life.
So sloka chanting in your case, or probably
Yes.
or Vedam in your case, if I may call
Yes.
it, is probably a connect that established you more to get to a higher state than what you were probably at a very young age. Um, that's good. Good to know. Actually, both of you guys are really talking really today. The session started with a very high note. The kind of explanations that we had today, both from Shambhavi, the way she explained how faith, self-confidence, and surrender are important, and how what is that smallest difference between all three factors, right? How and how the way you explained how your faith in Swami or your connect to Swami is more personal in terms of your experiences around what shaped you up, and how it brought more of a personal connect with you and Swami. Anyone else who wants to come in here and please chime in, use your chat or use your unmute yourself, ask a question both to Navneeth, and if you may want to ask a question to even Shambhavi. Shambhavi is available too, so go ahead, Sairam.
Sairam Navneeth. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Shambhavi and Navneeth. You guys were amazing. Like, for your age and your maturity. It's just really awesome that the way you spoke and the way you shared your experiences, it's really something like which I was like really inspired to listen after a long time. So one thing which I had in my mind was like when you're saying that in every situation you see Swami, so how difficult it is for you to see Swami in bad situations? Like, let's say if you see a bad Swami, like somebody is like being very rude to you. So how do you see Swami in that situation?
Okay, that's a thank you for the question. Yes, it is quite challenging, but I'll tell you the very beautiful difficulty in there is to see Swami in our everyday activity is equally as very difficult as to seeing Swami in someone whom we may not like. But uh, what I do as a practice whenever someone is rude to me or someone is doing something that I expect them not to do the way they are supposed to do or act the way they are supposed to act is again, it might be a little bit higher on that level, but I have now become a master of ignoring things when things don't work out the way they work out. They are supposed to be. This also comes from Sister Shivani's talk, which I listened many years back, in which she told that every soul, every person is a soul on a long journey. If they don't agree with you, this is not what Shivani told, but that's all she told. She told every person is a soul on a very long journey. What I do is, if they don't agree with whatever I'm putting forward, uh, I know that it is Swami, it is going to be only good for me, and I ignore it. It is very hard, but it is possible through some effort.
But somebody coming and let's say aiming at you could also be. I mean, would you treat it more as an ignoring, or is it really something to do with me? Right? It could be me doing something to that person that harmed that person and made that person ill at me, or it could be the other way around, where the person is probably not in the right mood to speak, and you don't in both of the situations, how do you really see Swami? In one situation you did tell, okay, yeah, ignore. Do you ignore in every other situation, or what do you do?
Sadly, yes, I have learned.
Okay.
Yes, it has been probably 5 years since I had my last confrontation with anyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Navneeth.
Anyone else having any specific questions here?
Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Sairam, Shambhavi, and Navneeth, again, thanks again for coming up and sharing your experiences. I echo Sister Sai Priya. You both were amazing. You guys inspired me a lot. Shambhavi, your one thing, right? Surrender and the good. Whenever good happens, then you're good. But when bad happens, then you accept it and celebrates it, right? It's really tough, by the way. I like it. I'll remember it. I'm not sure if I'll follow it, but that's really nice to know. Yeah. And Navneet, brother, I see that you gone through a lot. Um, uh, but the way you get all Swami's experiences, right? It's so fascinating. Amazing, amazing. Thank you again for sharing.
I think we should definitely consider doing maybe a monthly satsang on top of this. I mean, my science I is more a experience sharing session. The way both of you guys are talking, and I think a lot of others who are coming through, I'm now thinking we should maybe host a monthly study circle, YS specific study circle. Maybe have Shambhavi and Navneeth kind of people come and address us, right? Choose topics of importance, and maybe we should definitely leverage the opportunity, listening to and helping all of us in this regard, right? And the way I agree completely with what Vaikun just said. The way both Shambhavi as well as Navneet, both of you, the way you explain things, um, it's not really easy to explain things in a way that you just explained. And it is really it's explaining is one thing. Accepting the fact or accepting the message itself is more challenging here, right? I mean, when Shambhavi was talking about what is faith and how you when you connect with the Swami outside and when you connect with the form with the Swami inside, and how it becomes the self confidence factor, and how does that transform really into surrender, and what makes you to go through that journey. That's really a beautiful journey to kind of even think through that way, right? I mean, it's really a nice topic for definitely a study circle. We should definitely see you guys hosting something really soon. So that's a thought for me.
Sairam, I just want to quickly have comment and a question. So firstly, Shambhavi, really impressive that you are taking your SSC lessons so seriously and you're practicing it. It's really very heartening to see, as a SSC teacher myself, I would love for all the children to, be like you. And again, being in the college and still staying connected to Sai young adults, incredibly impressive. Excuse me for a second, please. Just timing of the phone. And thank you. And this was very a beautiful session. And also Navneeth, absolutely enjoyed, your interactions with Swami. The fact that he's like with you, talking to you every day, very impressive. Um, and yeah, like uh, Prasanna mentioned, you both at this young age have really come to that point of, non-reaction and talking about surrender, which is, very rarely, even as an adult, we don't come to that point that easily. The question I have for you, Navneeth, is you mentioned something about meditation. You said Shakti meditation. What was it?
It's called Shaktipata meditation. Shaktipata meditation is not actually a meditation technique, but it is a way in which the power of the guru, the diksha of the guru, for transcends down to the shishya. Shishya means the disciple. So it is when the guru decides that the student is worthy of starting a spiritual progress. It is when he blesses with his own power through a kind of a process. So that's called a Shaktipata meditation. And then all processes happen naturally, and whatever I'm supposed to do, I will do it. I'll just sit for the meditation, and then everything happens on its own accord. It is one of the easiest way of sadhana.
Is it so you basically you got it from a guru, and is it Swami did that to you? Is that right?
Yes, yes. You might have heard about Kriya Yoga, which is
Right, I have.
yeah, and then you might have heard about Raja Yoga. So these are different kinds of yoga that are there. Shaktipata is also similarly, it's a form of that yoga. But the thing is, it's the guru's intention who confers the spiritual progress. So it is basically telling the guru, telling the disciple, okay, this and this will happen in your life, although not verbally, and that kriya or the process will happen on its own. That is called Shaktipata.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anyone else have any specific questions for both either Shambhavi or Navneeth? I think it. Okay. So one last takeaway, I think, at least for me, is the path to surrender, and the path to believing in yourself, in the Swami inside you, right? And the ways that one can follow in terms of believing first in having faith in Swami, and then start having faith in yourself, where you build that self confidence factor, and then start having the surrender. And both of you probably spoke around the same lines. I'm really surprised how you both were brought together today, and how Swami made both of you come today. I didn't really, I mean, frankly, to speak, the speakers for today were shuffled at least a couple of times. We had requested a couple of other folks to join. There were issues joining. There were, hiccups in with them, yeah, joining in terms of their health, their activities, etc. But the way Swami brought both of you together to address the same topic on how we have to do that surrender, and how both of you had similar and different experiences, right? I mean, it's in a way similar, in a way a little different for both of you. How it shaped up both of you, and how it brought the surrender factor in both of you, where you are able to currently engage in that sadhana, even at a very young age, is really, really inspiring and kind of motivating, at least for me. And as what Joel Auntie was telling, it definitely motivates everyone in the call, right? So I really, at this point, all I can do is surrender myself. Thanks, Swami. I'm sure you all do. And have a prayer to Swami that he helps through all of us in terms of having us go through this transformation journey within us, and help us achieve that surrender factor in the Swami within ourselves, and experience Swami in everybody around you, and everybody within you. I mean, within you, and as well as everybody around you, right? It's very very inspiring to hear both of you. Thank you so much, Navneeth and Shambhavi. Let's take you, if you could take us through a prayer, Navneeth, and we can probably conclude the session here. Sairam.
Sairam, I would like to conclude this with a small shloka. Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrasham Tattvamasyaadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tannama. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.